behave myself, Olga. I was laughing all the time.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And what can I say? Dear Sabrina, we already are live, and I cannot stop laughing. And as you said, we haven't even gone live. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever is joining us now, whether you are a mother or a father, you know one thing. Without laughter, you can't really survive, especially when you have children, especially when you have more than two, and especially when you have more than three or four or five, and a mother who becomes your child number six. Today, I have somebody phenomenal, a lady whom I was really looking forward to see today, to learn from her. And also, I honestly secretly wish to live next to her, to be her neighbor. So maybe sometimes I can just creep in and just ask her questions, because she is so inspirational. Sabrina Ben Salmi, she is a global connector, an award-winning author, transformational speaker, inspirational person, and a founder of Sarah. And we're going to tell you all about this, but let me just welcome my darling here in the studio. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for coming today to my show. I'm so delighted to have you today with me.
Oh, thank you for having me, Olga. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to our organic conversation.
Me too. And I must say, I was so excited because I know what a diamond you are, and you are so inspirational, not only to people who are out there, but particularly to parents who have their children. And right now, during this lockdown, they all feel sick of their children. Let's admit it. All right. Let's admit it. This is the truth. All right. This is the harsh truth. You already feel a bit sick of your children. You already think like, oh my God, these children drive me nuts. All they want to play PlayStation or Xbox. How do I entertain them? They don't want to go with me for a walk. And you are a mother of 5 children who are also authors and have their own publishing houses. I mean, Sabrina, have you been born that way? That's my question.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
How did it happen? How did you become so inspirational mother, so unique person who right now inspires so many lives?
I think it all starts with why. You know, when I first became a mother, I remember so clearly being in that labor room and being handed my daughter for the first time. And the first thing I remember is immense love and appreciation, but mixed emotions of so much fear of the fact that this is a life. I have to be responsible for this life. And I was frightened because I was thinking, I don't want to let her down. So it really came from a place of why and absolute love, but also being open to learning. You know, becoming a parent is one of the things that there's no handbook. You know, there's no good or right or wrong way of doing it. We just work it out along the way, right? So a lot of my experiences really was a seed from why. I wanted my children to have access to everything in the world. I wanted them to know who they were at a very young age, but not only know, preserve the essence of who they truly are.
Wow, I love that. And you know what? You are so right. When you become a parent, there's no such a thing as, this is the manual. Just follow that and your children will be great human beings. Or just go for that course of parenting and your kids will be amazing society members. It doesn't happen. We just get along. We'll make it work as we go. And this can be very scary bit. Very scary bit. But I also know, Sabrina, that you actually were doing all this whilst you were a single mom.
So for purpose of just being accurate, so I was a single mum of 2 and I got married in 2006. So I am married still and I've got 5 children now. So being a single mum was an absolute whirlwind. It was a process that grew me in ways I cannot possibly imagine. But there was a lot of pains, ups and downs, a lot of sorrow. And again, that really added to my why of there is no way that I could let these kids figure it out for themselves. I don't want to let them down. I have to create the foundation from which they can leap from.
Wow, this is such a great example of being resilient. Because I must say, as I'm a coach and I work with many people, very often people, when they're just about to get divorced because the relationships are really unhealthy, especially when they are in violent relationships and they must leave, they must go, they are fearful of, how am I going to figure out? And I'm going to email them this interview today.
Oh, beautiful.
And get inspired because, you know, when you become single, it is a scary journey.
Yes.
And I understand you. I relate to you because I was a single mom for a while as well. It is a very scary part of your life.
Absolutely. The thing for me is that I came from a single mother. So my fear was if I become a single, so I was bullied. So just going back a little bit. So I was bullied specifically because I came from a single parent background. So in my area, unfortunately, I was the only child that came from a single parent background. There were 2 other children, but their mothers became widows. So it was sort of like a go card.
Yeah.
So I remember being beaten up over and over again just because my father wasn't there. So in the back of my mind, single parenthood equaled serious pain. So it wasn't just the fact of him not being there. For me, I had the memory of dad not being there equaled physical pain, not just emotional pain. So when I became a single mother, I felt so devastated. I felt like I was going to die. The pain was so deep. It really was deep.
Wow, this is so shocking. And I understand you had this really strong why, and I really, really can understand it. I can really relate to that. It's really, really important to have this strong why of I want my children to be inspired. I want them to see my example, stay strong, get motivated. But how did you manage to do all that by yourself? Did you have any support group? And the reason why I ask this question, because I want people to hear the message that even if you have to be a single parent, this is not the end of the world.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, no. So, I want to be as transparent as possible because I think you listening to this deserve to have that essence. So when I started out back in 2006, I didn't have like a support network, in all honesty. So I had my mother. I was living with my mum when I became a single mum. Well, I was living at home. It's such a long. I'm 40 now. So Lashay's 20s, years ago. So I remember that I was saying to my mum, just crying. I was on the floor, literally crying. I mean, I had never felt that level of pain because, again, all the connecting factors. And I remember saying to my mum, I'm dying, like I'm going to die. How could I do this to her? Because I was blaming myself. And one of the things I remember my mum saying, she's so strong and I'm nothing like that. I've always been very kinesthetic, very emotional. And she said to me, you don't have time to die right now. You've got a daughter that needs you.
Yes.
And I'm so glad she said what she said the way she said it, because I was like, huh? Like, I kind of my bubble. Like, that's so true. Like, I can't afford to do this right now. I just don't have the space. But one of the things I would say is that at that moment in time, although I didn't have so my friends at the time were very negative. They wasn't what I could really say friends. So there was this heave and ho. So a lot of my friends were working, and they were used to me being a specific type of person. So there I was thinking I was going through this pain of single parenthood, but I was going through this pain of kind of shifting and shedding away old skin. Because what happened to me is that I realized I had always been very non-vocal. I was always a pleaser. So in order for me to step into my power, to be the person I need to be to raise my daughter at the time, I had to become someone that my friends wasn't used to me being. I had to become someone that my so-called family were not used to me being. So there I was growing, and people were digging, like, what do you think you're doing now? You're crazy. You always have these ideas. They're never working out. And I remembered that I set up this program at the time. It was called the Mobile Single Mothers Project. And I set it out specifically to be the voice for those that couldn't speak. Why? Because I was doing it for the me that I used to be. So I really, really want the listeners to connect with the fact that there isn't a cookie cutter model. It really is tapping into what is your why? And what do you need right now? I needed to heal. I needed to heal so many layers of me in order for me to just get started. And that's it, just one step. It's not all of it overnight. It's just taking that one step.
Wow, I love that. And I really love the fact that you are saying that I was growing. Yeah. It's almost like you had a child to raise to make sure that she grows and then they grow, as you had two, and then you were growing at the same time. Yeah. But it's so good to hear you had your mom supporting you. As long as I know right now, you're kind of, in brackets, paying her back because she's writing a book right now. Is it right?
Yeah, she's published 2, if I remember, 2 or 3. I think.
Wow. That's
she's got her own publishing house and stuff. But pretty much, you feel like as a child, you want to give your mother something back after what they've gone through.
Yeah. 100%, yes. And this is so inspirational from your side, because very often we grow up and we leave our parents' house and we think that's it. We are independent. We don't have to be with our parents anymore. But actually what you are doing is really inspirational.
Oh, absolutely.
to your mom. And I'm sure your children, all 5 of them, will do exactly the same thing. They will give you back, because if not you, they wouldn't be who they are right now. This is so sweet. Oh, that is so inspirational. But Sabrina, I wonder if you could share your top secrets about, I got the why. I got the why. Okay, there's the main secret. Okay, know your why. But top secrets for how to raise 5 absolutely stunning and inspirational and talented children.
I love that question. The secret is that, oh gosh, it really takes me back to an emotional time. One of the things I had to do was learn to be vulnerable. I had to learn to accept that I could not be everything to my children. I didn't have all the answers, and I didn't have to be perfect to get started. So the secret really was surrender into the process. I think when I look back, the more I kind of connect the dots, the secret was surrendering to this essence that being a mum was just one version of who I was. But in that version, how can I be that without incorporating the kids, right? So the biggest secret was family meetings, speaking to your child and finding out what are their sacred gifts, what do they love to do, So although they follow, they're public speakers, they publish books, they do all these systems, but the secret to it is interjecting their own unique essence. And the only way I could do that is by listening to them, finding out what was their vision, what's their dream, what do they love doing more than anything, where do they struggle? So it's all really an analysis. I think every family should go home and just connect so much deeper, strive for it, ask questions. How can I be a better sister? How can I be a better brother? How can I be a better mother? How can we amplify this beautiful relationship we've got to take it to the next level? So I think the secret was the secret of questioning and surrendering to the process.
Wow, I love that, because very often what parents do, they think, okay, I need to be strong, I need to be powerful, I need to inspire, I need to do X, Y, Z. But actually, it's also about being vulnerable.
Yes.
When you open up, even though they are just your children, but when you open up, you build stronger connection.
Absolutely. Do you know what I love? And I really want to emphasize this in this conversation. I really struggled with this aspect. I had to be strong because that wasn't really my character. And I feel that a lot of parents, especially mums, we need to give ourselves permission to be the true essence of who we are, because we can do so much damage. Like, I had serious health implications. I crashed. I had burnout because I was not being the truth of who I was. People saying I had to be strong, you're letting them down. And one day I just switched. I said, who am I trying to be? I'm going to sleep not feeling good, sometimes not even sleeping. And the truth was, I just had to give myself permission to be who I was. I was told not to cry in front of my children. And one of the things that I loved is that the more I was vulnerable and open with my children, the deeper our relationship became. So, I love that you said that mums, you don't have to always be strong. It's good to just be able to, strength is actually asking for what you need when you need it. Strength is actually saying it hurts, and sometimes in life it's going to hurt, but we'll get through this.
Yes. Wow. That honestly, that makes me emotional, because that was very similar lesson which I had to learn as well. Because same like you, I was thinking, okay, I need to be strong. I can never show my emotions. I can never show how much trouble I'm going through. I can never share how much hurt I am. I can never show my fears. But actually, when you do, then children start taking care of you as well. Not in the sense now you want them to take care of you and parent. That's amazing, right? Okay. But in terms of when you share how you feel, they really connect with you, and then they become more responsible. But the more you protect them by, no, stay strong, create this perfect home, create this perfect environment when there's no fears, there's no anger, there's nothing happening, they're just growing up in a lie.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's more of a shock to their system, right? Being a teenager it's such a difficult process, just learning, like, who am I, where am I going? So with the added factor of all this synthetics, and then they start experiencing all these challenges, and they're going, what is this? My life has been perfect until now. That can send them down the road for a huge crash. But whereas they know, well, Mum, I'm not feeling so good today, can we talk about it? You're actually giving them permission to tap into emotional intelligence, to tap into the essence of expressing themselves and reaching out for support. It's so important.
Yes, yes. Oh, honestly, I just wish everybody right now could hear us. And I really wonder if people are watching us right now, where are you joining us? I can see some people are from Britain because I already see some regulars are here with us. And I would love to hear, where are you joining us from, because this message needs to go international. We need to make sure everybody around the globe can hear this message. They can connect with you and actually they can learn from you, because what you are sharing right here, it's almost like it's so simple. It's not a rocket science. It's not rocket science. But because it's so simple, we forgot about that.
Yes.
But it's common sense. It's so common sense. So people, go back to your true essence. Parents, don't be afraid to become single parents. If you really have to finish your relationship, in that case, finish those relationships and become a true example to your parents. But not only through the strength, but also through the vulnerability.
Oh, that's so beautiful, the way you've put that. Really beautiful. One of the things that I really am passionate about with one of the projects we're working on recently is about that essence of reconnecting with ourselves, family and community. And sometimes we forget that the breakdown of a marriage is not about pointing fingers, but it's realizing the old African proverb, it takes a village. So sometimes we don't understand that if we just had people to talk to as couples and individuals, it would really change the lifespan of our relationships. And I feel that too many people are living in isolation. Unfortunately now, when we say single parenthood, a lot of parents, mothers, are just raising their child on their own without any input from family. And that hurts me so much. And also never to forget the single parent fathers. One of the things I learned on my journey is that I only knew about single parent mothers. I didn't know that there were single parent fathers. I was at university and a friend pointed out this man, I'll never forget him. He was at the reception and all these kids were climbing over him, and she said that his wife just got up in the middle of the night and said, I can't do this no more. I've got a boyfriend, I'm leaving. I'd never heard of that before. I thought it was just women this happened to. So when we're talking about single parenthood, it doesn't become any easier just because of our gender.
Yeah.
And I think now is a time we have to really realize that the role of the family, how we're supposed to support each other, is an infrastructure that's very sacred. And as that infrastructure breaks down, it puts immense pressure on relationships.
Wow. But you know what? It makes so much sense, because you're right. There's not only women single mothers, there are also fathers who are single fathers. And I must say, I have a very similar example. When my son was at primary school, there was a dad with 3 girls. And everyone, there was him by himself walking through 3 girls. The hair was down, all 3 girls. They were in very beautiful dresses. So they were always, really prepared really well. And I didn't know for a while that he was a single father, but he just, as parents talk, as you know, eventually I was told that actually he's a single father. And I looked at those girls thinking, there's no way he's a single father. You almost expect, like, if it is a single father, then he's incapable looking after his children.
Exactly.
We have this perception, which is for some reason so strange, which is not truth, because all 3 girls, they're always looking immaculate. They always were really smiley. He was always happy. I don't know what happened to him, because we never really had a chance to talk, because our kids were not in the same class. Yeah. But it was quite remarkable how admirable as well that he still managed.
Exactly. It's just amazing. We have to remember them.
Yeah, it is possible. Wow. This is so, so profound. I really enjoyed that. But I must say, the one thing what I really admire you, that in addition to many others, of course, but what I really, really admire about you, that you were taking your children to personal development events. Wow. Right.
Yeah. Oh gosh. You're just really getting my mind to percolate with all these memories. So yes. So that started from a place of pain, to be honest. So I've been to university, I kind of was on this journey of, okay, I'm going to go into the corporate world. I had a friend that was working at HSBC who actually became a mentor. So when I was studying my computer programming, I had a job I could have went to. And that was the moment when I stumbled upon Grassroots. I started to go, like, what's going on in life? What really connects at a deep level? How are we going to get to where we're going? And I started to hear about these things like public speaking, coaching, and mentors. And I knew about sports coaches, but I didn't really come from that work. So my family are very much academic and just working class. So they've never really had mentors and coaches. And I thought, you pay someone to speak to you? Like, that's isn't that a friend? Like, I can't charge someone for speaking to them. So it was just like a mindset shift.
Yeah.
So I was on this journey of just self-discovery and going, wow, like this is really expansive. I love how this worked. But actually, my daughter was being seriously bullied in school.
Wow.
So what happened, she missed a year and a half of primary school education. So I started to go to these personal development events, not with the infrastructure to say, okay, I'm taking these kids along with me. It was just a case like, guys, I'm so sorry, I've already booked a ticket. My daughter, she's old enough, she won't make noise. She's got colouring books, I've bribed her, I'm taking her to ice cream afterwards. Can she sit in the room while I learn? That's what I thought, right? Yeah. So there she was in the room like a sponge. And at that time, I didn't know what I know now. So between the ages of 0 to 7, our subconscious is just open and we absorb. Yeah. So she was there, and when I would go home, I'd do my homework, and obviously I'd treat her for the ice cream, whatever I promised her. Yeah. And I would just write my notes, and she'll go, no, Mum, you know, you said this. It should be this, because the neurology does, like, we make neurological connections. And I said, you make what? Like, what do you mean you make neurological connections? So she would just start reciting elements of my teaching. And bits that I missed out. And that was so key for me, because it was the bits that I missed out, because we have our own perception. So I'm only going to pick up aspects of what I understand, right? Yeah. So everything outside of that was somewhat deleted, distorted, and generalized. So I looked at her and I said, what else do you know? Exactly. So she was the only child in the room. So she's made history in several essences like that. And she was saying, Mum, it's a bit boring. They're all older. And I was writing a book, and she would say, well, I'm going to write a book. It's easy peasy. So it was a beautiful organic essence. So she started to write her book, and Tray-Sean was 7 at the time. She was 11. And he was like, I can read and write. Why can't I write the book with you? So they had made discussions to actually co-author the book. And then, as you can imagine, as the little ones, when you get the eldest one activated, it's a very easy process. The little ones want to be part of the fun. They hear they get pocket money, they sell books, it's fun, they talk, and they're like, Mummy, I want to do this. I remember having to like say to the 3 little ones as I was going out the door, because they were a lot little to go to a lot of these events. So I'm like, I promise you, when you get a bit older, I'll take you. And they counted down the days. But what I love about our journey is that it wasn't me who chose it. It was us. And I think if you're listening to this as a family, like a mother, a father, really think about what is it that your children and family collectively are choosing that pretty much you haven't been aware of until now.
Yes, yes. Wow, this is so powerful. So basically, everybody who's watching us right now, wherever it is, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, please make sure you take your children to personal development event, to university, to wherever you want to, because they're gonna teach you back one day. Because I remember first time when I heard about this, and I was blown away. It was Tray-Sean when I was at his podcast, and we were speaking about. And no, it was actually when he came to my show. But before that, I was at his podcast, and I remember I was blown away, because again, I had to take myself back to him being 13, right?
He's 15 now.
15 now, yeah, 15 now. Oh, yeah, because in his bio there was something about 13. Yeah. I had to take myself back again and again, saying like, oh, he's 15. Because if I wouldn't see him on a video, honestly, I would think I'm talking to an adult. I only have to just look at him thinking, but he's so young. And, it's this mismatch which just doesn't click. It doesn't sit well in your head, because you can't comprehend how such a young adult can be so smart, so wise. And when I asked him, okay, but how did you become that way? And he said, that's all because of my mom.
Oh, wow.
All because of my mom, because my mom was taking us, and he also referred to his sister, to events, and we were sitting there. Yeah. And I was like, wow.
It's beautiful. I love it so much, because when the family choose, they want to be there. You're not saying like, sit down, do this. And it's like, it's so stressful. Like, don't do it that way. If it starts getting like that, there will be times when you have to encourage them. There will be times when you have to promise them a treat. Like I've said to my kids sometimes, we have this ethos, try it first. And then if you don't like it, you don't go back. We've got to learn to taste from the buffet of life. If we don't know what's there up for grabs, how do we know what to choose? And this is really the main aspects of what I do as a parent, is that I present my children and immerse them into experiential learning so they can start choosing. They know what's in life. I think the worst thing that adults ask children, what do you want to be when you grow up? They haven't got a clue sometimes. So why don't you ask them what they want to be now? If they
Yeah.
love to draw, if they love to play, if they love to create, whatever it is that they love to be now, I guarantee you it will be the difference that makes the difference. You mentioned universities, right? Taking your kids to university. So we made history last year and this year. So last year, my youngest son, who was 6 at the time, now 7, he became the youngest ever STEM ambassador for Brunel University. So imagine if I'm shouting, saying you have to do that. He chose that. So he went along, and these master classes are for year 9. It's really important you understand these are for year 9, P6. So this beautiful angel called Lesley Warren invited us down because Paolo, one of my son's dream is to become an engineer. So we always support each other as a family, and that's the key, guys. Please support each other as family. You all win. It's a team. Realize that. So we went along to support Paolo. By the end of the day, all of my kids were just in love. Like, I love Brunel. What they were teaching, it was immersive. So they spotted Amire being able to keep up with year 9 work. And at the end of this course, it was an engineering masterclass. They all were awarded a certificate. And Lesley said, I want you to be an ambassador. And I just thought it was, cute, making him feel welcome. So we're all going, oh, it's really cute. And they looked at me and they go, this isn't a joke. Like, we want him to be an ambassador. So the reason I share that with you is that as parents, sometimes we limit the essence of what we realize our children can be capable of. I did not realize, I never positioned him. I never asked about it. I would not even ask the question, can he become an ambassador? It didn't even cross my mind. But just by him being playful, being present. So that was one half of the history being made. So when I say in history, I mean in history. Since the beginning of time, it's never happened at Brunel.
And I believe you. Yes, absolutely. Because I never heard of that. Absolutely. Yes.
And fast forward to 2020, the family were able to be in discussions with Brunel University, and we managed to convince them to open up their floodgates to homeschool families. Now, what this means is that masterclasses are specifically for children who are doing exceptionally well at school, and the head teacher selects them to go into these classes. Now, my children are homeschooled. So that was one big ooh-ha. So the fact that they were willing to discuss it, we were on cloud 9.
Yeah.
So this year, March, just before everything shut down, we had 2 sessions starting a computer science, and Brunel funded 20 spaces for free. Just to give you scope, these spaces would cost roughly, I'm guessing, $7,000 each. And this is what's possible when you allow your children to just be free. Not only do they bless their own lives, but they bless the lives of others, creating beautiful ripple effects that go on to impact for generations to come.
This is so shocking. And it's really impressive. I mean, I'm just listening right now thinking, wow, can I be adopted by you? Can you be my...
The beautiful thing is we can teach you how, and this is why us as a family, we're on that mission. We're on the mission is that there's no fun in you guys trying to be like us, but we can teach you key components that help you to activate the true essence of who you stand for as a family. And that's even more fun, because if we're the only flower in the garden, it's not much of a garden. But if we all start to sprout and we all start to interconnect, that's the difference that makes the difference.
Wow. And this is so beautifully said. But Sabrina, now I wonder, and my question is, because what you speak about is really inspirational. And I mean, it's a dream life. It's a dream life of any parent, not only single parent, to have children who are so well educated, who are so inspirational by themselves, who are so driven by achieve something. This is a dream life for any parent. Okay. But what if, and I'm sure probably there are 99% of families like that, what if it didn't happen, okay? And now parents are watching this video and they're thinking, wow, I want to be parent like that, or I want my children to be like that. Is it possible to reverse this and to start this journey later? Or you can only start this journey since they're born? Is there any way parents can...
Oh gosh, no. Yeah, I think that's such a phenomenal question, because people watching could be like, oh, I've missed it now. There is no such thing as missing it. The beautiful thing is that now that you know, you can plant the seed. See, some people live an entire lifetime, they never know who they are. Yeah. Sometimes they live an entire lifetime but never actually been the true essence of who they are in their family or for themselves. And one of my daughters, the elder one, she said something that really touched the core of my heart. She said, where is the most wealthiest place in the world? And then she pauses. And I was like, whoa. I hadn't heard this before. It was the first time live at an event. And she said it's the graveyard. She said it's where all the friendships that wasn't made, all the books that wasn't written, all the inventions that wasn't shared with the world. So my question is for you as a listener is that the right time is always now. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We can't change the past. And I would say, irrespective of whether your children are 30 or just being born in the stomach, 16 is irrelevant. What is really important is that you home in on what is it today? What can you do differently now? Yeah. And the difference is, first and foremost, is learn to go inwards, learn to tap into your inner greatness. Okay. I know that there are secret creatives that kind of silently, scribble away on their notepad or in their journals. Start sharing that with your family. Start talking about the essence. Start talking about your dreams. I think the secret to one of the reasons why we do what we do is all of those secret aspects. We've created a safe space for them to share. Be that in a family meeting, be that just walking up and down. Like, everyone has this vision that we sit down for hours and then we're not that kind of family. We have immersed our personal life and business life. People talk about how do you get work-life balance. We don't live that life. Our lives are intertwined. So because I love families, everything I do is around that aspect. So I've opened a school, I'm involved in coaching, all kinds of things, but it's all around the love that I have for families. So the question I ask you is, what's your first love? And start from there.
Yes. And this is so powerful. And I love the fact how you said, some people ask me about what about your work-life balance, but actually I think you are that wheel which actually has everything in it. Because my question before you said that was, okay, I get you are a mother of 5. You're also helping your mom. So technically you have 6 children.
Don't forget their dad. Yeah. So that's another conversation.
Yeah, exactly. You also are a wife. So you have to also pay attention to your husband and all the rest of it. And then clearly you have also friends in your social life. Yeah. So my question before you said that was, actually, how do you balance this out?
Yes.
You said beautifully.
That's a good question. I think it might offer some more detail. So first and foremost, my first love is a diary. When you have a diary, a planner, it can be digital and it could be a paper. It's about knowing, like, it's very simple. What are you doing on a Wednesday? Can you schedule it in? So just that helps me to balance my life. Now, don't get me wrong. The thing is, I really love the platform and the questions. I want you to understand the true essence. Otherwise, I'm giving you a fake deal. I went through immense struggle in my relationship. So if you're at home and thinking, well, it's okay for her, she's got her husband. That wasn't the case. My husband was the first person that was against everything I was doing with the kids. He thought I was crazy. He thought I should, sweat for work. He said, go and get a real job in Tesco's. Now, I don't say that to put him down. I say that to connect with the reality is that sometimes we're in relationships and people are not always in tune with where we're headed. One thing I would say is that I learned to trust my intuition. And I think you should really tap into that. You see, if I was waiting for everybody to tell me who I could become, I can't imagine where I would be. I definitely wouldn't be doing this now. But throughout my life, family, friends, I had gone through series of incidents where I was just bullied and suppressed. So that's not a good enough reason to say it can't work for me because X. Okay, the why. I looked into my children's eyes and I didn't know the how. I just had the why. And I called in and I prayed and I aligned myself, but I did the inner work. I think one of the things I really want to share with you is that there's too many synthetics in the business world. You are fooled into believing that you pull this piece here, you pull that piece. It's not as easy as that. Mm-hmm. The spiritual side, this visual aspect is here. The spiritual side is here. And if we don't do the inner work, quite frankly, you're building your foundation on fragments of what's going to hold your vision. So I had to do a lot of that spiritual work, but I just wanted to put that out there. And it's not to put down husbands. It's just understanding that women or husbands, vice versa, not everyone has to be on side. You see, for me, I was traumatized by my vision because I would go to bed and I would get up thinking about it and the thing was following me around. I'm like thinking, I just have to give in. Otherwise it's not going to go away, right? So I kept on battling thinking that I had my vision. And, if you're listening to this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about is that we have this inner calling. And the more we try to silence it, it starts to manifest in dis-ease, which is that disalignment with ourselves. So if we don't listen to the internal, it will start to show up. So sorry, I just felt I had to be very transparent around that if I'm going to give value.
I love it because actually I was going to ask you, was your husband very supportive? And now you actually answered the question, which is amazing because very often what happens, partners are put off by other halves not supporting them, but actually it's not their mission. It is your mission.
Yes.
So follow your mission. Don't wait other people. Do your mission. And Sabrina, that was my thing for a long time as well. Yeah. Almost like expectations. Somebody will come along and they will do your mission with you. But
Yeah.
they have their own mission.
Absolutely. I love the way you said that. And also forgiveness. Forgiveness is key. You see, so I could resent my husband. Oh gosh, no, sorry, try and put this down. I could resent my husband for not supporting me, not being, and I was there and I had to question myself. Is it fair that I want him to be everything to me? I had to respect the fact that it wasn't his vision. And this is, I really want to give that value to people that are listening, is that if they can't see the vision, then don't get me wrong, there's some toxicity that you'll just know you need to leave. But I don't always think it's just that. Because the truth is, the problem's inside of you and you're running around, the problem's still running around with you. So what I had to do was go inwards. I had to go, he's their father, and that's enough. I don't need you. It would be beautiful if you can support me. Like, I go out and I see husbands beside their wives, and I'm just like, I'm in awe, and I love that. But that's not enough to give up on a vision that I truly believe in. It's not enough for me to silence that calling. So we went through a whole array of ups and downs. But one of the things I really love is that what I had asked him to do then that he said no to, he won't publicly say it, but there's little bits who go, oh, Sabrina, what about this? And I'm looking, is that actually sometimes they're scared. Sometimes they don't know how. And as a man, they're expected to lead and guide. But how can they lead and guide if they're scared? So sometimes they'll just say, don't do it, run away. But sometimes he would put in these little subtleties. And I go, wow, I'm so glad I didn't whimper on his fears and I followed mine, because now I'm not only impacting myself, I'm not only impacting my children, but impacting the world. And we've gone out to build so many amazing products, services, and experience as a result. So sometimes it's a bit selfish just thinking, oh, maybe not today, because there's someone else out there waiting for it.
Exactly. And when you're sitting there, not releasing what your gift, what your talent is, when you're not showing that sparkle, that glitter inside of your soul to the world, you take away opportunity from people. See that light in you. So what we should do is just follow your mission. Doesn't matter if you're single, you're not single, you have supportive partner, you don't have a supportive partner who hates what you want to do. Do it because it's your mission.
And trust the process. I'm telling you, like, if I was thinking about finances, if I was thinking about having the right, I came from a reality that doesn't make sense as to why we created what we created. And I'm telling you this because I'm trying to delete all of the things that might be going through your head thinking, I would have been the least person to get involved with this because I had such low self-esteem. I started to speak at the age of 35. So I've been speaking in essence since, when I say speak, not public speaking, speaking my truth, like being okay to say, I don't like this, I like that. I was a people pleaser for a very long time. I'm only 40. I've been speaking for 5 years, my truth. I think that is so sad. And I don't want you to waste that amount of your life just feeling so scared to speak your truth. I would do it in varied capacities, but I would never say no. Would you like a drink, Sabrina? Yeah, anything. What would you like to eat? Yeah, anything. I didn't want to upset anybody. But actually, it was an injustice. I slowed down the essence of what I can impact other people's lives with. I slowed down the fact that in my subtlety, see, rebirthing yourself isn't about you being loud. You can be the quietest person in the room, and that can be impactful. But as long as you're honoring the true essence of who you are, that's the most important thing.
Wow, Sabrina, I could listen to you for days. Honestly, I feel right now like our souls are talking. Because I can so relate to what you're saying. And I honestly, after every word, I would say, yes, that's true. It's true. Because it is. It really is. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to become selfish. You don't have to become arrogant. Stepping up for yourself and verbalize your opinion. Verbalize your feelings. Verbalize what you want, what you don't want. This is simply giving yourself opportunity to be you. And this is so important, because if you don't do it for yourself, how can you teach your children doing that? How can you step up for yourself in relationships? How can you be happy 100%? Rather happy what society tells you happy is. Husband and wife, house and cat or dog and a cat. Right? Well, all these society rules of happiness, but it's not your happiness. So if you really, really, really want to be true yourself, authentic yourself, then start speaking out. And even if it is the age of 35, even if it is age of 50 or even 70, the oldest client I had so far was 73.
Oh, wow.
And that was liberation for him, because he couldn't believe what life he lived. There's never too late and there's never too early.
Absolutely. I echo that. And so as a family, we have basically pledged to speak our truth. We're not perfect. And we don't have to be, but we are in acceptance that our imperfection is our perfection. So we have a family mantra, we have family meetings, we overcome and discuss whatever challenges show up, because they will show up, guys. You know, that's the thing. Life will throw at you. Don't worry about that. Problems are loyal. They'll wait around for you. But the essence is you tackle it as a family. That's what we're offering. That's what we're inviting. So one of the platforms that we're setting up is called Sava. So it's next generation education, turning learners into leaders. And the reason I'm saying that is that right now, the whole world was sent home.
Yes.
I want you to connect with that reality. 2020, I published a book, homeschooling, #homeschooling. And that was from my intuition. So I had 2 books I was writing, but when we listen to our inner self, magic happens. So that happened on the 2nd of March. I'm not telling you for the purpose of the book. I'm telling you for the purpose of how life will guide us.
Yeah.
So I published this book ahead of the other 2. Now, if I wasn't listening, I was like, oh, I got to finish those. But it was so purposeful, so driven. I knew it, but I didn't know what was coming, right? So the 2nd of March, we're going out, we're excited, sharing the book. The whole world shuts down.
Yes.
The whole world is homeschooling. Now, if that's not an intuitive lead, what is? So if we listen, I'm telling you, we can shift heaven and earth. But if we're not listening, we make our task so much more arduous. So that spiraled on. And then we were at home and I'm thinking, what is it? What is it we need to do? How can we be of service? As a family, we do not like to take pictures when we're giving a homeless person a meal. For me personally, I find that to be so degrading. I love to actually give from a place of integrity. So I give to you. Sometimes we'll just leave things in the street and we get really excited like little kids, but we don't necessarily have to let that person know it came from us.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons we created Sava, because we realized that coming out of this, people talk about a second wave. People are talking about many things, but we're not talking about the mental impact. We got to see past our noses. This is going to happen 6 months down the line, years down the line. The next generation are going to be impacted through their mental health in ways we can't imagine. Are we prepared? Forget about the grades. Forget about the books and setting up businesses. For me personally, I'm really interested in keeping my children healthy, and that's emotionally and physically. And I really invite you that when you're happy and you give your children permission to say you are not your grades, they will thrive beyond your wildest dreams. I was diagnosed with dyslexia and I went through so much trauma. And if I listen to the profile that you couldn't be, you couldn't have, I've been to university, I've graduated twice. I've given that to my mum as a gift to say, that was all your hard work, here it is. You can see a scar in my neck. I had a tracheostomy when I was born. I died twice.
No
way. If I survive, I would have brain damage. If this is what it is, it's good for me. So there's all these things that we can tell ourselves that can hold us back. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, because if you're listening, you've got disabilities, that's not it. If you're listening, you haven't got support, that's not it. Actually, it's us giving ourselves permission. So I had to put my finger here when I needed to speak, and it was opened and closed throughout my childhood. So you can imagine the level of bullying I had.
Yes.
They call me Frankenstein. They would say I was a freak, all kinds of things. Yes. I always knew there was God. I always knew we had to choose love. So I really just invite you to just tap into that essence of yourself. It will be a magical ride.
Oh, this is so, so special. I love that. And I love the fact that you also have your family mantra. I would love to hear that. But just to rely on what you were saying, when you really connect with yourself, as you were writing your book, this is what happens. You channel information. You channel what's important, what should be given to the world. You channel what's important to you, which will benefit you and your family and your relationships, because you are connected. So that true essence is so important. People say, oh, I don't believe in connection. Oh, I don't believe in law of attraction. Oh, I don't believe in... And I'm like, do you believe in gravity? Oh, gravity.
Come and try that out.
Not in gravity, right? People don't want to believe what they don't want to believe. But only if you just, as you said, give yourself permission. Just give yourself permission to connect and be you, true you within yourself. You will connect, you will channel, and you will actually life.
Oh, you said it so beautifully. I love it.
Wow. No, I love everything what you said. But could you please, because we definitely have to finish very soon, and I'm really mindful of your time. I know how busy you are. I don't want to take too much of your time. But could you please share your family mantra so we can...
Yeah, absolutely. We believe that there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. we also believe that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step in the right direction. And then there's a bit of a song. So it goes, if you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. I'm ready to be somebody. I'm ready to go somewhere. I'm ready to wake up and pay attention. But the question is, are you? And we sing that to each other. That's what keeps us connected.
Wow, I love that. Sabrina, you are phenomenal. I'm not sure how many people told you that before. You are such a diamond. You really are. And you are really making a huge transformation in the world. I'm not surprised you're a transformational speaker, because you truly are. And I also know that you help businesses. Is it right?
Yes. So I am a business and personal development consultant. So I love doing that. I love all the magic. We're doing a lot of like diaspora and kind of government levels. We're creating a lot of programs, but I do take some private clients from time to time.
Wow, that's amazing. So if somebody would like to contact with you, to work with you, learn from you, or maybe to get your mantra, which I will follow you.
So we help you create your own family mantra, because it's very important that you own it. And this is the thing, like my kids have come home and they've been singing it in the playground. I said, did you sing it at 1 o'clock? And interestingly enough, we sing it at the same time. We've had lots of incidents like that. So I would say, like, really as a family, get something that you go over and over again, and you'll be connected in ways you can't imagine. So to answer your question, I'm across social media, and anyone that wants to get in touch with me, just Sabrina Ben Salmi. You can type our name into any search engine, to be honest. We come up everywhere. We've done so many different things over the years, and there is an application process. So we want to make sure that people are aligned and ready. We don't want to force people to do anything. We want to work with people that just know, like they know they're ready to go.
Yes. And I love that. And again, being so busy mom, being so great partner, being such an amazing daughter, you cannot take everybody. So you don't allow exclusive people to work with you, because otherwise you just will waste your talent, you will waste your gift. So I agree with you. You have to work with only selected amount of people, because only then they're going to value your services, and then they will want to progress as well.
Yes,
that's so important. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olga.
Oh, Sabrina, I so enjoyed this time with you. Honestly, I wish we could just freeze this time. Time doesn't go anywhere, and we just talk and we just talk and we just talk, because you shared so much value today. Your message is so priceless. I'll make sure it goes around and around the world, because we want more families to hear what you were saying. Believe in yourself, connect with yourself and your family members. Don't expect for your partner to be everything for you. Don't put your mission, your weight onto your partner's shoulders. This is your mission. Connect with that and go after that. Just go. Just say it and go.
I love that. And just surrender, slow, like don't put pressure on yourself. You see, I became a mum 20 years ago, right? So it's a 20-year progress of becoming an overnight success. Don't believe the hype. It's not overnight. It takes time. And the beauty is enjoying the journey. Sometimes we're so fixated on the destination and we forget to look out of the window and enjoy the journey. Please enjoy it.
Very true. Very true. And to be honest, the end destination is, just like your daughter said, at the graveyard. This is the end destination. We're all going to end up at the same place. There's only one guarantee in life. You're going to die.
Exactly. So live. Yeah. Don't worry about just leaving the legacy. Live the legacy. I'm living my dream. I was an only child. My biggest dream was to have a huge family, so I could have someone to love and someone to love me. And for me, that's the priceless aspect. Everything else is a bonus. So go and share your dream. Olga, you're amazing. You're a beautiful soul. You've got my contact details. If there's anything we can support you with, let us know.
Oh, thank you, Sabrina. And I'm really, really grateful for your time, for your wisdom today. Everything what you shared, it was so, so priceless, as I said. So everybody, please get in touch with Sabrina if you're really serious about taking your mission off the ground. If you really want to make sure your family is living extraordinary life, you can get in touch with Sabrina. I will definitely make sure I will put your details below every video on all platforms, so people can know about you, people can meet you, people get in touch with you. But thank you so much, everybody who stayed with us till the very end. It was great to see actually quite a lot of people on Facebook and also YouTube and also LinkedIn, which is amazing. So thank you so very much being here. We have actually great conversation here, comment and saying marvelous, excellent condition. Yeah, beautiful comments. Thank you so very much for Sabrina, once more from the bottom of my heart. I'm grateful, and thank you everybody else. Whatever you do, live extraordinary life.